Welcome to our series on project management. My name is Darren Hoggett with ODVA and I'll be your instructor through this course. Today I want to talk about how you deliver successful projects as in project management. So how do projects get started? When someone has a problem to solve or an organization needs an opportunity to pursue, that's when the project manager comes into play. We all want our projects to be successful, and organizations want to enjoy the benefits from those projects, what they produce. As a project manager, we look forward to our next project with opportunities to learn about new industries or manage products around the world. Delivering a project successfully is more than just writing up or handing out a to-do list. Your job as a project manager is an ongoing balancing act between project scope and the time, the resources, and the budget that you've been given. To make things even more interesting, people will ask for changes midstream your project. Risk will become real issues, and what never goes according to plan. So you have to continually correct the course of pretty much all the way through the entire project until it's done. So during this series, we're going to look at how to start a project the right way and then put together a comprehensive plan on how to run it. I'm going to guide you through keeping the project on track from start to finish. With these techniques under your belt, you should be able to impress the stakeholders' expectations and handle the changes inevitably that will arrive. So first thing is what should you know? You don't need to know anything about project management before you start this course. It works either as an introduction to the project management for beginners, or it can also work as a refresher if you need to managing a project for a while. You've been managing projects for a while. In this course, we're going to follow the project through the project management lifestyle. So for the few videos that you're going to go through in the project manager, we're going to look at a general hospital type setting. And the hospital is actually adding a new cancer wing to their center, and they want to improve its facilities by doing so. But the government grants and generous donations are just a few things from several donors that we'll also look at. You'll imagine the project to replace a system and processes for scheduling patients into rooms throughout the entire hospital. It's important to know that the goal is to improve the hospital's scheduling capability and maximize the use of the facilities as much as possible. First of all, what is a project? Before we talk about how to manage the projects, let's see where we are on the same page about what a project actually is. The formal definition of a project is a temporary endeavor that has a unique goal and usually a budget. That's a good start, but what does that really mean? Unlike day-to-day operations, a project has a definite beginning and a definite end. If a project is implementing a new system, the project is done when you successfully hand it over to the operations. What if the project, though, seems like it goes on forever? It could be that you haven't clearly defined what you're looking for and trying to accomplish throughout that project. That brings us to the goal of the project. A project produces a unique result, which could be a product, it could be a service, it could be an outcome. That's something completely different. But in the case that we're looking at in this series of a hospital and implementing a new scheduling system, we're going to look at the outcome and the final product that's produced there and the service that goes along with it. So lots of organizations implement scheduling systems, but each one has its own set of objectives, it has its own set of constraints and issues that go along with it. Maybe the hospital struggles with staffing issues. We know that's a big issue right now in this time. Or perhaps it's a big pain point for scheduling of equipment along with skilled staff and rooms needed to actually operate it. You could be upgrading the scheduling system that's already there to improve the results of the level of care. Finally, most projects have budgets. Most of the time you think money, you hear about the word budget. In projects, you'll probably face other constraints as well, things like the resources that are available, for example. A project isn't the same as operations, though, the operations represent the work that's the same day after day, producing the same results. Admitting patients in a hospital represents operational work. Patients may show up with different medical issues, but the people at the front desk follow the same procedures and use the same forms to admit each patient. Introducing a new scheduling system into the hospital, on the other hand, is a project. It will have to have a specific beginning, and it has a specific end when the system's finally up and running and scheduling hospital resources. It has a unique goal to solve the hospital's scheduling issues, and it has a budget, both in money and resources and time. Over your lifetime, you're probably worked with a lot of projects, both at work and at home. And a project is a temporary endeavor with a unique goal and usually has that budget to go along with it. Using these characteristics, think about what you've done over the past several months. Identify the projects that you've worked on during the time by identifying the project's time frame. What made the project unique? And did it have a budget? In the exercise files we're going to look at later on, you're going to find a list of work that I've done recently, tagged either as a projects or an operations. So what is project management now? Lots of project managers get their start because they have a goal of making things happen. But project management is more than showing off your organizational skills and supervising others. It means applying knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to achieve your project's objectives. Project management can be summed up as answering a few critical questions. The first question that you need to answer is, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Clearly defining the project is supposed to accomplish what they're supposed to accomplish is a big step into working toward making it a successful project. Legendary baseball manager Yogi Berra's off-kilter take on this. He said, "You've got to be very careful if you don't know where you're going, because you might get somewhere and then you get lost." The second question you have to ask is what are you going to solve? How are you going to solve this problem? Whether you're solving a problem or pursuing an opportunity, you might have to choose from several possible strategies. Once you've picked your approach, it's time to flesh out your solutions, gathering your requirements, identifying deliverables, and defining the project scope. The next question is, what is your plan? A big part of project management is planning your project. You have to identify the work that's to be done in detail and how long it might take. The resources that you might need are important to have listed and how much they might cost. What is the info that you have at hand? You can build a schedule of work when you surely could occur. While you're at it, you also need to spell out how you want things to happen in your project. It's like communication, managing changes, and so on. Some projects even go forever, seem like they go forever, but eventually someone will pull the plug even if it didn't finish. That's why you also have to answer the question, how will you know when your project is done? Clearly define these objectives, the requirements, and deliverables to help answer the questions, but you can find a climate by defining success criteria, qualifiable and measurable results that show that the project is complete, like a certificate of occupancy or for construction, or an increased productivity measurement after a system has been implemented. When you get to the end of your project, you really will need to answer the last question of how well did the project go. The important steps are often skipped because everyone is so ready for the project to move on and get to the next part of the deal. You really need time to take and review the project once it's completed. What worked well? Why didn't it work? How could we have done better? Is there anything else that we could have changed to make this project go smoother in the future? Project management boils down to answering several questions about your project. What problem are you solving? How are you going to solve it? What is your plan for the project when it's done? How can you tell when you're done? And how well did the project go? I hope you enjoyed this first part of this series. The next time we're going to discuss things like what it takes to be a project manager, what the project management lifestyle, the traditional versus agile project management, and how organizational structure affects projects. Hope to see you then. Have a good day.